Greetings. Good morning, Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. I am the Moon Mama, and I am currently, I've been doing a series on Mercury Retrograde, which is almost complete. It will be, Mercury Retrograde will complete on January 2nd, where it is completely out of the shadow. And so this is the conversation we've been having. My intention here is to bring information, tools, and resources without a paywall that really are beneficial, like real information that really helps the people who are a part of my social network community use this energy in a way that works for you. And what I know is that many of the tools and things that I use are not common in the world that we live in now. They are energetic tools that we function from within ourselves, because we live in a world that is regulated by our internal experience. So what you have going on inside of you as above is what you're going to experience externally as below. And we have not been given that information, and we've not practiced it. So when we want changes to happen, generally we want the external thing to change. We want someone to be different in order for us to feel better. But that's absolutely the incorrect way of being in this planetary system. Everything is an inside job. Everything is an inside job. And Mercury retrograde is an opportunity to recode, shift, transition your mind from external focus to an internal focus. Today also happens to be the winter solstice, So we are in a period of time for the next 3 days when everything stands still. And the sun at the end of the third day this is the rising of Christ. This is the Christ consciousness. This is what's the real story. So the sun will go into, it'll be still for 3 days. And then on the 24th, the sun will have one more day, one more minute of light. So we are in the darkest time right now. The solstice is this day is when the night is longest. We'll have the longest night ever, not ever, but the longest night of the year. And then we have that for 3 days, these 3 days. And then on the 24th, we will have one extra minute of daylight. And that is the rising of the Christ. Isn't that something? That is the rising of the sun. That is the rebirth of the sun. That you go into the winter solstice and you go into the dark for 3 days, which they say that Jesus went into hell for 3 days and he was in war with Satan. And then he rose on that, was it the third day or the fourth day? On one of those days. And the sun has one more minute of light. I just love this stuff. I just love it because this clock has been working for billions of years. It is perfect. It never makes a mistake. It's never off. It's the most romantic thing you could ever think of to me. Like, to me, there's nothing more romantic than the story of the sun and the moon and how it's playing out within us, the masculine and the feminine within us. And when we master it at the internal experience, then we have an external experience that is orgasmic and mind-blowing, because you feel aligned, you feel connected, you feel sourced because you are plugged in. So Mercury retrograde today is at the 9th degree. The 9th degree is a degree that is ruled by Sagittarius. So We have the winter solstice, which is the longest night of the year, which is when the sun is about to return into its light and its glory. We have Mercury retrograde in its post shadow. So it's not retrograde any longer. It's now going forward for the third time. So what that says is that you've had some practice at this. You have done this one time where you're like, oh, what's going on? 2 times, like, oh, I see it. 3 times, oh, this is the best choice, right? And it's at the 9th degree, which is a degree that is ruled by Sagittarius. And this Mercury retrograde is in Sagittarius. And the sun was in Sagittarius and Mercury was in Sagittarius. And the sun has gone into Capricorn today. So we are at a turning point, y'all. Like a turning point. Like it's like to me, it's like a map. I can really see the map. And it's a cosmological map in my consciousness. And the turning point is a shift in your faith, a shift in your ability to love yourself, to trust yourself, and understand your connection and your purpose. Now, here's the thing. I'm not talking about details. I'm talking about understanding that your purpose is to be yourself. That is your purpose, to be yourself. Most of us are not ourselves. Most of us are functioning in codes and conditionings that we inherited from people who were not themselves. So if your purpose is to be yourself, it is significant for you to have faith in your connection, your desire, and that there is something greater than you also working on your behalf, orchestrating your success. This is not just about your ego mind. Like you got to let go of the ego because you can't get rid of the ego. You have to put the ego in its place, which is to serve your higher self. And the practices is which a practice gets you to your experience of your higher self, which automatically puts the ego in the back seat. But you have to practice consistently every day. Something has to be done on a daily basis. And for those of you who have been in the moon work with me or in these classes with me, you see when I teach a class, every day, because you must shift the behavior pattern. You must uproot the roots of the behavior and seed it in a new way, because otherwise it's just not, it won't stick. It won't stick. You will get a behavior and then it'll be gone, right? It's like somebody loses weight. They do all these things to lose weight. They get the weight off and they have not created the systems in place to keep the weight off. So then they gain the weight back. And so along with this practice, this for Mercury retrograde, it's important that you journal. It's important that you write things down. It's important that you for me, I burn candles and speak to the higher parts of myself. I do body work, breath work, meditation work to get it in there, good, so that it is rooted in my system, so that it's not something that just goes away, right? And this takes practice. This is not something that happens overnight. That's why we have a Mercury retrograde every 88 days. We have a new moon cycle every 28 days. And when you follow these cycles, they will uproot your current subconscious patterns and ways of being. The cycles, because they're connected to the cosmos, they will uproot your patterns, things that you wouldn't be able to do in therapy or, on your own, because you don't have access to it. It's deep in the subconscious, and the cosmos bringing in new light with a new moon cycle or a solstice or a Mercury retrograde or Mars retrograde, which is happening right now, are the opportunities that are necessary for these patterns to become concrete in our ways of being. Because these patterns have been functioning in us for generations. You are not the only one who's behaving the way you have been behaving. Your mother behaved this way. Her mother behaved this way. Her mother behaved this way. So you are uprooting generations of patterns, which is why it takes consistency, deliberate intention, focus on a daily basis. it only takes about, like, so for me, because I work with other people and I'm doing a lot of work to support others, my practice is intense. It's not intense. I love it actually, but it takes hours is what I'll say. But if you're not somebody who's working with others, your practice can take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you know what I mean? 15 minutes. It's just as long as you're doing it on a consistent basis is what really matters. So today, Mercury is in its forward direction at the 9th degree of Sagittarius, which is really in the solstice. It's literally about an awakening to the divine masculine and divine feminine within you. This is the thing that I didn't really understand when I first started my spiritual work. I didn't get it. I really didn't get it. But now I do. There must be a balance within you between the masculine and feminine. And how you can see where you are in that is, what's your relationship like with men? Your relationship with men is a projection of your internal relationship with the masculine. What is your relationship like with women? Your relationship with women is a projection of your internal relationship with the feminine. And so whatever's showing up externally, remember I said, as above, so below, is going on internally. So in order to harmonize the masculine and feminine within you, it is a deep commitment. It is a deep commitment. And I didn't know it because I wasn't taught it. And Christianity is all leaning towards the masculine, which is why everything is out of balance now. But as I've done the work and I've healed a lot of patterns, I'm beginning to really see the significance of understanding the battery that the masculine and feminine are. The feminine is the internal, the receptor, and the masculine is the giver. And that's why you hear people saying, if the man can't provide, because the masculine is the giver of the information and the feminine takes it in and makes it something new, right? So you hear people talk about it from the ego perspective of like, I need him to pay for the bills. I need him to, that's just the total external thing. When you are aligned internally, feminine and masculine, you will attract men who show up providing. You won't have to ask. They will just be a magnet to you. You will just be like, oh, they're bringing me gifts. They're bringing me, because you're internal masculine and feminine, but you will also provide them with something that is of value to them. It is an exchange. Everything is an exchange, which is why on the Venus Day, I'm like, and I want to say thank you for everyone who donated. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. But because this life is an ebb and flow, it is an exchange. And when things are not ebbing and flowing, illness kicks in, depression, mental illness, because there's not a flow of ebb and flow. It has to ebb and flow. And the ebb and flow first has to happen within you. The feminine is the left. The masculine is the right. So one of the things that I used to notice when I first started this work is that my masculine side, if ever anything was going on with me illness wise, it would show up in my masculine. I had cysts in my breast. I would, my pain was in my right hip, because my masculine energy was out of alignment. So I had to do the work to really heal my connection to my internal masculine energy, which required that I become deeply devoted to myself and giving myself what I desire and need for myself without the expectation for anyone else to do it. But that meant I had to discover what it was that I really needed. What do I really need? Who am I really? Oh, I was told that I needed Jesus. I was told that I needed a husband. I was told that those are not the things that I need, because that didn't work. So what is it that I really need? What I really need is self-mastery. What I really need is to understand how my psyche functions, how my mind works, how my emotions work, how my system works. And the more I gave to myself, the more my feminine energy became stronger. And then my masculine energy started to come on board, because now I was no longer thinking that I need people to change in order for me to be happy. I knew that I could change and make my own self happy. And when I stopped pulling on at the external now turns around and just says, what do you need? Because I've created the energy system going in first, in, then out, in, then out, in, then out. So when it comes in with my own love and care, and then it exits, because everything that goes in has to come out. It exits, then what I put out in the world is more harmonious, more beautiful, more aligned. So then what comes back is more harmonious, more beautiful, more aligned. What goes out, right? So it's really, and that has come from me taking responsibility for everything happening in my life. If someone is in my life behaving in a way that doesn't feel aligned to me, I take responsibility for that. Why? What about me attracted them? What is the lesson in this for me? Rather than being like, oh, they're this or they're that, I see it as a reflection of me. Just this morning, I just had a intense exchange with somebody on Instagram, one of these men who believe that a woman has no value unless she's with a man, which I find to be a very interesting thing, but my father was that way. So for me to have an encounter with that person, I'm like, oh, what is that? What's that saying about me? Is that, oh, it's important for me to really love and accept myself. The parts of me that has no interest in being in a romantic, traditional relationship. And the parts of me that are single and, devoted to my own healing and transformation, and not being ashamed of that. And so as this person is saying all of these really, interesting things about me without even knowing me, I know that that's a reflection of me. I know, even though it doesn't feel good and I don't like it, I know it's a reflection of me. And so at some level, I just accept it and I'm grateful. And then I let it go, because I know that I come from that. I come from men who believed that a woman was nothing without them. And the reason men often believe that is because men generally, in the world that we live in, need women for everything, because we're the creators of reality. And so it makes sense. It's not a dig. It's just that we create reality. We are their source of pleasure. Generally, we're their source of creation. They don't get to create themselves without us. So, it's understanding how this reality works, so that I can function in it wholeheartedly with self-love, self-acceptance, peace, understanding my shadow, allowing the shadow, and knowing that the more I love myself, the more I accept myself, the more I will be, what that will be reflected back to me. So today, Mercury is at the 9th degree, the degree that is ruled by Sag. The sun is in the first degree, 0 degree of Capricorn at the solstice. We are in the longest night of the year. We have 3 nights of this before the sun will have 1 additional minute. And I believe it's 1 additional minute each day until spring. So, yeah, until spring. And then when summer hits, we will have, the darkness, we will have 1 minute of darkness that starts until we have more night than we do day. So it's just all magical. So today is a great day. Spend some time. I personally am fasting. I'm also cleaning, like I'm cleaning my house a bit. Just simple things, because I really need a deep cleaning, and a friend has offered to come and help me with a deep cleaning. So I'm just doing some little bit of cleaning, and someone is going to help me do some deep cleaning, which I'm so happy about, because my walls need to be cleaned. Like I need some real support. So I'm going to be fasting today. I'm going to be doing some cleaning. I'm going to be doing some meditation, some journaling. I will be doing rituals throughout the day, burning cinnamon, burning cloves, burning frankincense and myrrh, which is the Christ consciousness coming, right? So like igniting that energy within myself and speaking to myself like with love and care. I love myself. You're valuable. You're enough. I am the magic. I am the source. I am the creator of my reality. I am the God force here in my experience. I am open and receptive to that which is in alignment with my highest calling and yet to be. I will spend time visioning my dreams and desires, just, like luxuriating and taking naps and just really cultivating the yumminess of what it means to be harmonized between the masculine and feminine. All right, you all. If you need any support, you can book a coaching session with me or a natal chart coaching session, which I would love to do to support you. Again, I wanted to thank everyone who made donations. I love the work, and I'm so grateful that you guys are benefiting from the work. That really matters to me. So thank you so much. Kelly Moon Buddha, send me a private message and I'll give you my address. I'll be happy to do that. I'll give you my address. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, you all. I love you all. Happy winter solstice. This is an amazing time. This is an amazing time. Allow the power of Christ. Allow the power of Christ to rise in you because you are the Christ. You are the Christ. You are the Christ. Peace and blessings.